And if at the end of the scriptures, the chapter, 1 Corinthians chapter 14, it says, don't forbid speaking in tongues. It has to be interpreted in the context of the passage that it occurs in, or written in. The previous verses says you have to have an interpreter to interpret your tongue. If you don't have an interpreter there, you keep silent or you speak to yourself. It also tell you, Paul said he preferred to speak in a few words that people could understand rather than using a ton load of words that people can't understand. And not only that, if a stranger come in your midst and hear you speaking in tongues and they don't understand what you're saying, the stranger going to think you all are mad. And all of those verses come before it. This is the context which that scripture happens. So in other words, Paul is saying by that, don't forbid tongue once it meets the context of the previous scriptures in this same chapter. Not, for example, Paul let out these rules, but at the end of it, he said, man, ditch the rules. Anything goes. Don't forbid. Don't forbid talking in tongues. So therefore, don't bother mind about me saying previously you need interpreters and all those sort of stuff. Don't bother that. Just do as you feel like, which would make the previous scriptures to be nothing but pure nonsense. And Paul looked schizophrenic and ultimately make God look schizophrenic. No, the God of the Bible is not schizophrenic. Context is everything. So I would like to tell me, please don't twist scriptures, interpret everything in context. The same thing goes with Cornelius in Acts chapter 2, where the people them spoke in tongues, including Cornelius, and Paul said, okay, let's baptize them because they were speaking in tongues, and Miss Amy said there was no interpreter there. How does she know that? It's one or two things either happen. Either there was an interpreter or two, just like in Acts chapter 2, when they spoke in tongues, everybody understood what they were saying. Because as Paul saying, what all that is done in the church service is for the edification and understanding and building up of the saints. Speaking in tongues and nobody understand what you're saying. Nobody get built up by that. Nobody get spiritually go by that and those sort of stuff. So everything that is done in the church, so it's supposed to be done in order, and that is why one of the reasons why Paul said God is not a God of confusion. So God is perfectly self-consistent and logical. That is one of the stuff that I wanted to say. We must not make scripture pit scripture against scripture. That what Miss Henry was doing, pitting scripture against scripture. No. Interpret everything in context. Like any other literature, you interpret it you interpret a passage in its proper context. Now, today's supposed to be the day of budget. Yeah. I want to say this, and I will repeat it again. Hey, I am all for even a tripled salary, okay? But government must, on a whole, on a net basis, decrease its spending. Because if it does not decrease its spending, it will only be adding expense upon expense upon expense, and sooner or later, you're going to have to increase taxes. Not only that, you're going to increase the cost of living, and that is one of the reasons why the cost of living is so high today, because in the past, government has been adding expenses upon expenses with double salaries, government handouts, and that sort of stuff. And because of that, and government, instead of cutting spending in other areas and cutting waste as well, which is a lot of waste we have, instead of cutting all of these things, they've been adding more and more and more government expenses, spending that sort of stuff. And today, this is one of the reasons why we are bawling out about life so hard and cost of living is going up continually, because this is the result of we doing things unbiblically in the past.
Caller, Cost of living is going up around the world. It's not just us. I saw Grenada had their budget stuff. I think it's 1.9. I had a I want to think I remember seeing a B. I have to make sure. But it's over 1.9 billion EC dollars. And I see someone saying that some I'm gonna get back to that, but their budget is high. I see in the UK people are complaining about food prices. In the US it's the same thing. I just think cost of living is going up across the board.
Yeah,
So,
right. That
but
is true.
whether the
Cost of living is going
government,
up.
but what wasteful spending do you see our government here engaging in?
Well, okay, okay. Let me say this. The reason why cost of living is going up, well, because the governments are basically committing the same unbiblical um, 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 actions.
So
You know, the
that's the
governments all
punishment
over
you
the
would
world are
you're saying.
continually increasing the expenses.
But
No,
the
no. What ways are we doing? What ways are we committing? Well, for example, one, government have a lot of buildings that they could fix up, and instead of paying rent to people to house them. Um, not only that, not only that, with all due respect, with all due respect, government, the overwhelming vast majority of what government is doing will be best handled, biblically speaking, by the private sector. The overwhelming vast majority of I think, for example, tourism, gender affairs, um, roads, schools, hospitals, you name them, those things are supposed to be in the private sector domain, not the government domain. Um, because the private sector domain would handle these things far better than government. And competition in the private sector would bring down the cost, that sort of stuff. Government at the very, very minimum would not need these load of taxes to get these load of monies to run it. That sort of stuff. And so therefore, these are things that government need to get rid of. Government does not have a money tree where you can go and pick off the dollars off of the money tree to run it. No, it going to ultimately have to get it from the people, and the more government does, is the more tax it's going to have to put on the people,
so
and which is what kills the economy.
the private sector have a
But
money tree.
no, the private sector, they too do not have a money tree, but at least the expenses will be spread out, and not only would the expenses be spread out, they would, in order for them to make profit, once you have proper competition that starts up, in order for them to make profit, they would have to be offering their services and products at a much less expensive cost, at a much more affordable cost, in order for them to keep in business, because competition would be forcing them to do such. Unlike government does not have any competition. Okay, so government is not forced to be creative and innovative, and that results in a worse life for us when government running these things. But lastly, I would like to say that with all due respect, I am not expecting anything in the budget speech. If we get something, I will be pleasantly surprised, but I'm not expecting anything because, as I've said before, for example, last year, when the Prime Minister was asked about double salary and that sort of stuff, he let you know all the expenses that government was involved in.
But that was
And
last year. We can't.
hold on, hold on. He let you know that last year, and he also went in the budget speech and gave the same excuse for not giving double salary. But this year again, when he was asked about the same question about double salary, he used last year's playbook of all of the expenses, the desalination and you name it, that government has been involved in and given out millions upon millions of dollars concerning these things. The answer, that's what he said to the same question this year, same playbook. And I'm sure, I fully believe the result is going to be the same because the playbook from last year has been used again this year of government extra expenses. So personally, like I said, I'm not a prophet, nor the son of a prophet. That is just my gut feeling. That is my gut, because I see the same playbook being used this year.
Okay.
So that is just my gut feeling and guess at best. Okay?
Okay.
But everything is left to be seen. Only God knows the future. God bless you all. Take care. Miss Henry, stop twist the scriptures. Take care.
Both him and Miss Henry and Cleo, they like to get at one another. So I leave those church individuals to get at one another. We're going to take a bit of a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
You found the sound 99.9 winnfm. This is it. The last day, last chance to save big at Horsford's Building and Nevis Centers and Builders Paradise. For one day only. Wednesday, December 31st. Enjoy a massive 30% off all discountable in-store items at Horsford's Building and Nevis Centers. And 25% off all discountable items at Builders Paradise as we clear the shelves and prepare for 2026. Celebrate accomplishments, celebrate savings, and celebrate new beginnings with the final sale of the year. Last day, last chance, last call to save big. Build with us. Build at Horsford's Building and Nevis Centers and enjoy everyday low prices at Builders Paradise. Only on December 31st.
Here comes the Mega Ball. You could win more with the Mega Ball. Pick 3 and pick 4 and you could get all. Yes, playing pick 3 and pick 4 with the Caribbean Lottery just got more rewarding. Now you can win more with the Mega Ball. For just an extra $1, increase your winnings by $1,000 with the pick 3 and a big $10,000 with the pick 4. Don't wait, play today. Play pick 3 and pick 4 with the Mega Ball at Caribbean Lottery agents island-wide. You ready to win a little extra? Then get on the ball. Must be 21 and over to play.
This Christmas, add postpaid for a festive win-win. We're gifting you a 50-inch smart TV or a $400 Amazon gift card. When you add a Flow postpaid mobile plan to your home internet, you can celebrate the most wonderful time of the year with a big screen or big shopping. Let us upsize your TV or clear your Amazon cart. Either way, you come out on top. Add postpaid to internet today for your festive win-win. Visit discoverflow.co for more info. Terms and conditions apply.
Christmas is hope and love. Christmas is you and me. To be there for family. Surgical plans to help you be. Over 180 years. Surgical's always there. Protecting what matters most. Surgical. Repairing you is what we do. Surgical. Working to make your dreams come true. Surgical. Wise financial thinking for life.
This Christmas, make the season brighter with help from TDC Financial Services. Whether it's gifts for the family, a holiday home makeover, or that special celebration you've been dreaming of, our Christmas loan promotion is here to make it happen. Get up to $85,000 unsecured or $100,000 secured with affordable rates, fast approval, and the trusted service you know and love. Apply today at TDC Financial Services on Central Street, Bastyr, St. Kitts, or Main Street, Charlestown, Nevis. TDC Financial Services, your holiday, your loan, your way, where money is made easy.
And it's just about 29 minutes after the hour of 8. Welcome back to today's edition of Island Tea. Now, I saw an quite interesting article as it pertains to our English language that we speak. And this article comes from the BBC. And It reads as follow. Well, I'll do the heading and just a little of it. Canada's Carney, that's the Prime Minister, called out for utilizing British spelling. Now, they said Canadian language experts are calling on Prime Minister Mark Carney to ditch British spelling in official documents and utilize Canadian spelling instead. We have a caller?
Yeah.
Okay, caller, good morning. You're live on Island T.
Good morning, guys.
Hi, you done shopping?
Good day.
Yeah, somebody told me about that.
She sneaked in that on you?
Yeah, somebody
Oh,
gave
boy.
me a ribbon about that yesterday.
Oh, boy.
Well, actually, I don't know, maybe it's woman's intuition, the famous woman's intuition.
Oh, boy.
But in a sense, you were right, you know.
Okay, he admitted
Oh.
Actually, no. Actually, well, about some in some aspect.
There's some aspects.
It's actually good around this time of the year to give deserving persons, you know, some kind of appreciation.
Yeah.
I like your diplomacy.
Wealth, or, you know, redistribute some income, you know, help the economy, put it that way.
It's helping the economy.
Yeah, really. No, it's really good to play Santa around this time of
You
year.
understand?
So I make no apology for that. Not to Gwyneth though. She's on my naughty list for exposing me, right? But yes, today I think is. And by the way, you know, maybe you also have a resident biblical scholar.
You know?
We're treated really to some kind of interpretation of scriptures. Poor us who are not into those things get highly confused by the various opinions. I don't know. They may be experts. I don't know. But certainly you need an expert to decipher all the things that they say. Anyway, today is D-Day.
Yeah.
Or B-Day, depending on our both, right?
Yeah.
D-Day and B-Day. And what I've noticed is that the expectations have been lowered. Not people's expectations. I'm talking about the government on the government side.
Yeah.
Their apologists or spokesmen have been busy lowering expectations, right? So that whatever is given would sound like they've done something, at least something. Okay? That is my suspicion, right? It's a good strategy. It can succeed, it can backfire as well. But the thing is, I think the people's expectations are high, and like I said before, I think the government wants to match previous governments in the payment of things like double salaries and bonuses and so on.
Yeah.
So I don't think a year plus or 2 years out from an election that they want to do anything different. Because rightly or wrongly, people judge performance of the government on these bonuses and double salaries. Because they figure that if things are going good and there's money in the kitty and they're getting something, then the government must be doing something right. And of course, vice versa, right? Even though that extra money may have come from borrowing it from somewhere.
Yeah.
People don't look at that, but
No, people
they
don't.
really should.
Yeah, they
because
should.
there's no such thing as a free lunch. Somebody pays. Okay, so you pay now or pay later.
Let me ask you a
Right?
question, though. It's a twofold question. Why is it that the people's expectations are high, even though if they look around and they see what is happening in relation to infrastructure, it seems as if the money is scarce? That's the first part. And the second part is, why is it that the government's expectation is low, knowing that there, as you just outlined, are 2 and more years into their term, and people are expecting something at some time soon. So you think you can tackle those two questions?
Well, firstly, right, government can't give what they don't have. So if government dumb down expectations, is because they've looked at the books
Yeah.
and said, well, I really shouldn't do this,
Yeah.
But then the politics of it says you have to do it. And that's where the conundrum comes in.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay? Because you're not necessarily doing the right thing. You're doing the politically expedient thing.
Yeah.
All right? And I think you asked, or did you ask?
Well,
Greg,
you kind of...
about, oh no, Cartentia did actually ask about wastage.
Yeah.
For one thing, with 43% of the workforce employed by government, that's a lot of waste. That's real serious, what shall we call it? It's certainly not productivity, okay? Because I can't see a government with that payroll being productive. I don't care what they're doing or what they should be doing. 43% of a workforce in any country employed by government is a problem.
Yeah.
Okay? And it is not, unfortunately, viewed as such. Okay? Because, again, political expediency. I mean...
And people tend to look at it like, because ever since I was young growing up, people tend to look at it, I want a government job because it's consistent, it's,
Right, it's safe.
Yeah.
Right. And even though you may make more money in the private sector, yes, it's regarded as pretty safe, a pretty, unfortunately, and this is unfortunately, a pretty relaxed environment to work in that the consequences of you not doing a job is much less than in the
private sector.
Where you get fired almost immediately, right? Their bottom line is their bottom line. Business not making a profit.
That's it.
And you're pointed out as a problem, you go. It's not the same in government. So there is that. To cut down the wastage, that's a problem, just like how people would regard the payment of bonuses and a double salary as a suggestion that the government is doing well, managing the economy well. Similarly, I would say that 43%, employing 43% of the workforce is indicative of a government that is also failing because they have not created the correct environment to attract both foreign and local investment to take more people off the payroll.
Yeah.
So I would view it as such.
Yeah, I agree with your assessment.
Yeah, and well, what I would say, though, one of the things that have we've come to expect in the, over the years is that the government would declare, the finance minister would declare no new taxes. Okay? Then during the year, you might get some nuisance things creeping in.
Yeah.
But at least it's fashionable nowadays to say no new taxes, right? So I expect that is going to be the same this year, no new taxes. I'm not sure, though, what the fiscal measures are going to be to erase the deficit that the IMF said. Okay, that is going to be interesting. What they introduce to make up the budget, or they might continue to run a deficit budget. In which case, like I said, you pay now or you pay later. You can't pay closer to the election because you can't inflict pain on the voters just before an election. You'll get punished for sure, right? But at the same time, you got to do something about our fiscal situation. You got to do something about the management of our economy. You've got to create more, not just more jobs, but decent paying jobs. Get more people off of the social safety net, okay, and have a well-managed economy, because that, in the fair analysis, is what is going to determine whether or not we're going to do well in the future.
Yeah.
But it's going to be an interesting debate, I think. I hope it's not going to be 4-hour, 5-hour speech as before. I hate those things. It turns people off.
Most definitely.
Get to the meat of the matter quickly.
Yeah.
Sure, you got to put in context and they talk about, well, inflation is everywhere and everybody's complaining about the cost of living, etc., etc. But our politics are local. We are interested in our cost of living, our inflation. Don't tell us about nowhere else, okay? You got elected to solve people's problems, to make life better for us. Go out and do the job. If you can't do it, let somebody else a shot at it.
But they'll have to say, they'll have to blame somewhere else, because we import. They could say the food has risen, hence the importation bill risen. So somebody gonna get blamed somewhere.
For that. That's just another of the problems government is supposed to solve, right? They're not supposed to just wring their hands out, throw their hands up in the air, and say, well, we import inflation from outside. They are supposed to do something about it.
Yeah, because
it's all part of holding government accountable.
Because when they were campaigning,
passes, this is what they signed up for.
I know, but I'm just saying, you're still gonna get an excuse in the mix there.
Yeah, because when they were campaigning,
wait. So Cartensia, you would accept an excuse?
No, I'm just saying that you're gonna get an excuse. I don't want an excuse. I want to have extra money in my pocket.
Demand that they solve the problem, not give us excuses. An excuse is the simplest thing to give, the easiest thing to give. Okay?
Because I look at us here, right? Most of the time, our government talks about the previous administration. The other day, I was listening to Miss Bondi. What do you call it? Is the press secretary. I was listening to her, and she was basically blaming the previous administration as well. So I'd be like, is this a worldwide thing? Everybody just blames everybody and says it's their fault. Well, this is like that. Like nobody.
Yeah, and they do that because it works, right? Their base, you expect them to tell the base, well, we got him, and we failed to correct the ills that we found there. No, they're going to say this is a result of the previous government.
Hold a second, Mr. McMahon. We have another caller. Hello, caller.
Yeah, good morning to you guys, man.
Good morning, bro.
The listeners. How you guys doing today, man?
Good,
Mahan, how you, man? Yeah, well, I seen a clip that says a $304 million deficit budget will be presented today. Fiscal responsibility, the word of the day. You know, in order for you to keep your house in order financially, more money should be coming in than what's spending out. If you can't do that, you're going to fail. You know, you're going to run yourself into trouble. You know what I mean? If you can manage your own home, you should be able to do it on a wider scale. But my thing is, man, you know, all of these politicians that be grabbing the financial portfolio. Some of them ain't went to school to study none of this stuff. They ain't got the qualifications or the experience. And, you know, someone has been asking of the Prime Minister himself, you know, I don't know who he has around him, but I remember when somebody else was on the island, he was discussing the fact that maybe he should get a financial junior representative around him at least. But, you know, I want Miss Henry to come in on this topic here, man, this morning, because Greg put out his financial narrative. Is Miss Henry going to rebut that or what, Grant?
Well, I don't know. It's up to them.
I hope, because for me, when I be trying to get in on this financial knowledge, you know, I'll be asking all the time, the persons with the financial experience. Why can't they contribute to these conversations? We can each one teach one. And me, I'm trying to listen as much as I can of this financial stuff of late, because running a government and becoming more rounded as a person, you need to
Well,
widen
Miss Henry has been giving us advice, and I think
yes, yes,
and
yeah,
I
that's
think,
correct, and I agree.
and I think that what she would say is, as she has been saying, listen to the budget, and the way the budget plays out, you can determine how everything is going to move from that. And that is the advice that she's been giving, and it's good advice. We can speculate all we want, but until we hear the budget, then then we can come to our conclusions and do our real analysis then.
Yeah, that's true. We gotta wait. We gotta wait until this presentation goes down today. And midterm, this still seems to be midterm. And persons who have been paying attention, we be watching certain things happening. People are commenting about certain things. So, is the debt going to continue to run up? Projects that's coming, or they're just going to be strictly loans going to be taken out?
The debt is going to keep going up as long as we keep
definitely
moving up. Mr. McMahon, your input again about the debt.
I would say that there absolutely need to be some kind of fiscal discipline imposed here.
Yeah.
In terms, there are two things they can do. One, it would be nice if they are forced to have not necessarily a balanced budget, okay? Because obviously things can happen. You could have a hurricane a year or something like that. But in a normal year, at least say that your budget deficit should not exceed whatever figure it is. That imposes some strictures on government to do better.
Yes,
most definitely. They can also restrict borrowing.
Yeah.
Okay? They can say government should not borrow more than what, and you have whatever amount there is.
Yes.
That would impose some discipline on them as well. Because I agree, just like how a normal household should balance their budget, or they run into problems, things like foreclosure and repossess their car and all those kinds of really bad things. Government should also be careful with their budget, okay? And obviously, because we had a deficit last year, they've not been doing that, okay? They've been doing other things, other stuff, and one can argue whether or not they're good stuff.
Well, Mr. McMahon, I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you, but how can they curtail that when we look, we see they keep adding to the financial burden? For instance, recently they went on a trip to Africa, among other trips, and you see the entourage. So,
yeah. But that again, when you talk about wastage, what was things like that necessary? They did it, but I mean, if now they're in a financial squeeze and they can't give people some kind of decent bonus, might have to give them some trickling, then people are going to look back and say, but listen, man, you haven't been fiscally conservative.
Yeah.
You've been going all over globe trotting, carrying these entourages. There's a cost involved.
There's a cost involved.
Okay. Yeah.
What if they didn't pay the cost?
And there's also the optics.
The cost is going to be paid.
Yeah, you should be setting an example of how to manage your finances, not by the splurging and so on.
Yeah.
Okay. At the top. You're supposed to set the tone for the rest of the administration. How can you watch a permanent secretary and tell him or her that you have to cut your budget. You're getting your budget cut by 10%, 20%. Okay, you have to manage that however you could, right? And then you jump on a plane next day and go on up, God knows where.
Yeah.
Because the returns are not there. If things were coming in to show that these things were really necessary and productive, then people wouldn't argue so much.
That's it.
Right? But when it looks as if you don't care, right? You're going to do this anyway because I can.
Yeah.
You know? No. That is not accountability. Okay? So I expect, like I said, I expect them to give something. Don't know what. I guess that depends on what the financial secretary says and how much money they can get from whether benefactors or donors or lenders. Okay, they may bite the bullet and do that.
And even that, Mr. McMahon, has its risk, because those donors, they are going to be looking for their pound of flesh.
Of course, of course, right? You see that all the time, and that is one of my disappointments with this government. To be quite honest, they seem to be doing things as they've always been done. I mean, Cotton you talk about blaming the other administration. They do that all the time. But this is how they used to do it. So they can't object now. You know, that kind of reasoning, that to me, that is illogical.
Yeah,
okay?
I agree.
If you saw some practices, whether political, whether fiscal, or otherwise, that were wrong or were not in the best interest of the country, you mean you're going to continue it because you can? Because in the driver's seat.
And remember,
that makes absolutely no sense.
And remember, you campaigned for change. You pointed out those things when you were campaigning, and you said, look at this spending and look at that. We're going to make a difference. But now you're going to say, well, that is the way they did it. So then,
that's right.
Then you shouldn't be in there in the first place then.
And that is what turns a lot of people off of involvement in the politics. This hypocrisy, you know, this what you call it, same old khaki pants kind of approach.
Yeah.
You know, they got to do better than this. You know, so let's see what happens in the budget this time around. Like I said, the expectations. The people's expectations are high. Everybody is expecting something.
Yeah.
Right.
And one of the main reasons why people are expecting something is that from when they were campaigning, they've made a lot of promises. They got in, and people haven't really seen anything since they got in. So people feel that it's about time, you know.
Yes. They haven't seen anything big happening, and yes, some small things have been happening, you know, that keep people quiet at least.
Yeah.
You know, but in terms of having a vibrant, buoyant economy, right, which does not involve a lot of government intervention, that's not there. There is nowhere close to that yet.
That's not
okay,
there.
and that is what we should be aiming for.
Yeah.
Government, of course, must have a role to play. There are some things that governments do best. But there are, as Greg said, there are some things that the private sector do better.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's finding the correct balance. We are nowhere near that balance.
Yeah.
Okay, and unfortunately, I don't hear them talking about that. I don't hear them talking about fundamentally changing the economy to make sure that things are on a nice balance. We have a nice balanced approach to development.
I guess
all we're hearing is more government intervention and giving out little trinkets and those kinds of things. No.
And don't forget one of the big things we were being promised sort of glibly is the SSZ, but that is waning because of the friction that it is causing.
Mr. McMahon, you saw the town hall last night?
If what?
You saw the town hall they had?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No.
Who had?
That's in Nevis? In Nevis?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. But that SSV thing just smacks of desperation.
Yeah, it
Anyway,
does.
right? It was poorly thought out,
Desperation.
rushed at the end, and it shows. I guess yes, they're stung by the fact that they haven't been able to do anything major,
Yeah.
and so this represents an attempt. Well, it certainly might be just an election ploy in that you have this huge investment that's not going to come anywhere soon because you've heard how they plan to finance it.
Yeah.
By the same CBI.
Same
That you're
CBI.
trying to diversify from.
That's it.
Again, it shows that not too much thought went into this, and this is an act of desperation on the part
again,
of both the federal government and the NIA.
It just keeps coming back to, as I've said from the very beginning, desperation. That's the perfect word for it. It smacks. What do they say? What do they say? They say if it walks like a duck, it looks like a duck, it smells like a duck, it quacks like it definitely is a duck.
Well, hey, Quinn,
Yeah.
let me interject something real quick.
Go ahead.
Well, another thing that we haven't been seeing is the investors that was out to sea, waiting. You know, are they still out there to see? They didn't come ashore yet. And
When you say
cannot-
investors who are out to sea, be a little more clear. I don't really fully.
well, it's a statement that the Prime Minister bubbled around. You know,
Oh, you mean during his?
premier.
You mean during?
yes, his campaign, yes.
Yeah, during his campaign, yes, Mr. McMahon, he did because he said they're waiting. You know, they're just waiting.
Right,
So where are they?
And because, where are they? And,
the things we
you
call
know,
for,
it's easy to make conclusions about this stuff, man,
Yeah.
because of their recklessness and their incompetence.
Mhm.
They got desperate, and now they're trying to force this destiny on Nevis, and you know, futuristically on St. Kitts, Whitegate, or whatever are the plans they got for St. Kitts. They're now trying to force this on the people.
You see, Mr.
People ain't
McMahon,
on to this at all.
you see Burl and Mr. McMahon, what we've come to realize and what our governments, whether they are potential governments or they are incumbent, what they need to understand is that we are now wise to the pie in the sky things. And it is no longer going to work. It should not work. For instance, when during your campaign you say, what 500 or 1,000 ain't enough, we're going to give you, X, and then
1,500.
they're waiting, and all these things, they are more like suggestive in your mind so that you go out with enthusiasm and you vote them in. But then you get this deflated feeling after you realize nothing is happening and the people are becoming wise to that. So what new thing are you going to do? As both Mr. McMahon have been saying and Miss Henry always says, deal with the things that are bread and butter issues that will stimulate the economy.
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, it's
Well,
like
maybe
it's
I don't know
like,
if this is one of those such things, but an injection into the small
somebody in the
businesses.
States who said you should measure an economy by how the bottom 30% feel in the supermarket, rather than how the top 1% feel at the stock market.
That's it.
There's a tendency, if you don't have a good distribution of income among your populace, if there's too much disparity, then you tend to feel that, well, those at the top, very top, doing well, so the economy must be doing well, when the bottom really struggling.
Yeah.
Right? And that is why so many politicians lose touch with the people. When they go in there and get all the perks and the high salaries and so on, and they're living well, they cannot identify with the bottom rung of the ladder. They just can't.
Yeah.
Right? Because if not, their daily experience is different.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's really a tough thing for a politician to remain grounded once they've gotten in. You do all kind of, and the thing about it is, you do all kind of unnecessary strange things as if where the voters are supposed to just accept it.
Yeah.
I mean, you live a particular lifestyle. Yes, there are certain perks and so on associated with being, let's say, prime minister or minister or something like that. Okay? But you don't go in there and shut it off at the outset, right? People will start to wonder, oh, this is what he was really about.
Yeah.
Going for the big life, not really looking after our needs.
And
right?
here,
and most likely you get punished.
And
if you
here's
have a good opposition who's going to point that out, you don't get punished for it at the next poll.
And here's the thing. That is a good point, because remember when the present government got in, they were saying, well, they did this thing with the monies for the younger children that was put on an account, and you got your little 500, and you got a few things. And remember, Sean, in one of the houses of assembly, pointed out to them that they were doing it just because they wanted to increase their salaries. And having gotten those increases, no sooner than they got those increases, that's where we see everything slacking off. So,
well, I think the Prime Minister basically admitted that. He said there would be no salary increase for ministers until I think the minimum wage was increased. He actually came straight out and said,
yes,
that's quid pro quo kind of thing, But I think it should be less about strategy. Okay, because politicians will always strategize and do what they think is best for them to maintain themselves in power. It should be more about the country, how to position it in a good place for the future. Right? And you don't do that when you run in deficits. You don't do that when you have to employ nearly half of the working population, and you have to have all kind of safety nets. That's to me, that's not governing. That's administering. You're being an administrator. You're not governing in the way that you expect somebody with vision and so on to govern. Right? You should be thinking long term and doing the things now to make sure that the economy remain stable and an improved state.
One of the things that I remember, and it makes me smile, we'll always remember Mr. Keynes, who they called Massa Keynes. Remember they called him Massa Keynes? The Tekweki minister. And I smile because it's those take away the key that brought fiscal prudence. You understand?
Yeah, and it sets a tone that you're not gonna tolerate wastage and abuse in government, and it comes straight from the top.
That's it.
Okay, this is not a departmental thing. Okay, because you can have one department working really good. You can have the Inland Revenue Department working really good, but another department, the education or some other department, just wasting the money. Right? But the tone has to be set from the top where this is not going to be tolerated.
I agree.
Everybody gonna tighten up, we're gonna run a tight ship, and this is how it's gonna be done. Okay? Not leaving every man to himself. Right? Because that's one of the criticisms I think of government too, that Prime Minister is not hands-on enough. He farms things out to ministers. Yes, you can micromanage everything, but you got to be in touch with what's going on in all the ministries.
And I agree with that. And I agree with that.
You've got to stay in touch with what's happening in all the ministries.
And I agree wholeheartedly with that, because I've said on a number of occasions, and it just baffles me why he didn't make some moves in the earlier stages by looking at the different portfolios that his people had and doing a bit of reshuffling. He just seemed to have let them do and time went on, and now it's like, what? You're too far into.
It comes back to bite him. I mean, one of the most important functions of a leader is to choose the right people to help him pull the chariot. Okay? If you don't have the right horses, you're going to be in trouble. Okay? And in order to know what's going on, you can't. We all know the famous can run your country from a BlackBerry thing.
Yeah.
No. You've got to be on the ground here.
Yes.
It would be interesting to do a comparison of how many times have the Prime Minister and ministers been outside the country during their tenure as compared to previous.
Yeah.
Okay?
That'd
That
be
might be
interesting.
something, that would be an interesting comparison for somebody.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you got to be there, unfortunately. You may want to do other stuff, but you have to spend some time with things on the ground
And as you
here
stated,
in your country.
and as you stated earlier, even if you because we heard from very early in their tenure, people started to complain, and we heard certain ministers tell you point blank, including the Prime Minister, we're not going to stop. We're going to do this because we have an intention to bring in. But as you said, when you keep doing it and we don't see any returns, that is the whole big problem.
Yes.
Why keep doing it and we're not seeing any results?
You have to
What's
have
going on with
some
the agriculture
in
department?
the organization, and it starts from the leadership.
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, things are just going to go crazy. Things like deficits and so on are what's going to result.
Yeah.
So let's see what. Well, first of all, let's see what he says in the budget, and then what's going to be equally important, or should have been equally important, was the response from the opposition leader.
Yeah.
No, we know how that goes, right? Because that's Matt Brantley. What is that opposition leader going to say?
Well, I don't even want to go there. I don't see him as an opposition leader. I definitely don't. I see him as, this is just my perspective, my personal perspective. I don't know any. I see him as one of the incumbents.
Yeah, that is how it not only looks, but that is how they're governing.
Yeah.
Okay? And that is not how it's supposed to be in a parliamentary democracy. They seem comfortable with it,
Yeah.
because obviously it suits both of them, the Prime Minister and the Premier. But that is a travesty for the people. They're not getting the kind of accountability and so on.
Yeah. Because
the opposition should provide.
Because there's no demand for it.
Well, that's the other thing too. We have this thing that, well, we can't do anything until the next 5 years, until voting time. Citizens are powerless to do anything. In our situation, we're not going to take to the streets and demand this and demand that. It's just not. Strangely enough, we used to be very militant, but we're not that militant now. So we're not going to do that. And so we just grumble and so on. And again, I say it's up to the opposition, when election time comes around, to remind folks, the voters, of these things, right? And it's up to them to say, well, yes, this happened, didn't like it, it still happened. I'm going to punish them for it. Since that's the only time that we have any real voice,
Yeah.
we should make it count.
You know,
So be
someone.
very careful
You know,
how
someone.
we vote this time around.
You know, someone pointed out to me, I think it was just yesterday, that it seems the only time democracy really seems to work in a democracy is when we're supposed to vote. That
Yes, but really and truly, we can't do anything in between there
yeah.
unless well, they talk about things like recall and those things, but that's just talk. Talk about things like community councils. That used to be a fashionable talk. We don't even hear about that now.
Yeah.
Right? It's all government, the ministers, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay? They're the ones, that's the power center. Nobody else, no community group. Look at how the community groups, the Bar Association, the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, the religious community, the opposition, all of them coalesce to say they have reservations about this Destiny project in Nevis.
Yeah.
And has it made a difference?
No, it doesn't
not
seem
so far
to
it
have.
hasn't.
Yeah.
Okay, they seem to be going for it still.
Yeah.
So there are limits to how much democracy we have in between elections.
Yeah.
And that is why it's extremely important when election time comes around, you vote wisely. Make sure you're conversant with the issues. Make sure you remember what has happened in the last 5 years. Remember what you want to happen, more importantly, what you want to happen.
That's a good
in
point.
the next 5.
Yeah.
Okay? And vote accordingly.
I agree.
You know? Yeah, stop
Okay.
This party thing. This party thing doesn't seem to be working.
It's not going to work.
Trade party line vote.
No.
Don't seem to be working now. It doesn't bring the kind of results we wanted, we expected.
I agree.
So try something else.
Yeah. So we had a long discussion on that. So we're due a commercial break. Overdue a commercial break. We're going to take that and be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
What are you doing?
She said, drink a rude boy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh, she said, drink a rude boy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh, cause when we out and we active, living we life. So when we drink, we drinking.
Rude boy.
So when we drink, we drinking.
Rude boy.
Oh, Miss Lady, anyway you see we are we building up our vibes. So when we drink, we drinking.
Rude boy.
So when we drink, we drinking.
Rude boy.
Why?
This Christmas, add postpaid for a festive win-win. We're gifting you a 50-inch smart TV or a $400 Amazon gift card. When you add a Flow postpaid mobile plan to your home internet, you can celebrate the most wonderful time of the year with a big screen or big shopping. Let us upsize your TV or clear your Amazon cart. Either way, you come out on top. Add postpaid to internet today for your festive win-win. Visit discoverflow.co for more info. Terms and conditions apply.
It's the Horseford's Building and Nevis Centers and Builders Paradise biggest savings weekend of the year. The Builders Big VAT Weekend Blowout. Get 30% off all discountable in-store items at Horseford's Building and Nevis Centers. And get 25% off all discountable items at Builders Paradise all weekend. Plus, enjoy a 12% VAT discount on VAT Day, Friday, December 12th. On top of these massive savings, unwrap huge deals on tools, tiles, lumber, plumbing, paint, decor, fixtures, and so much more. Unwrap big savings on this builder's big VAT weekend blowout. Thursday, December 11th, VAT Day, Friday, December 12th, and Saturday, December 13th. Build with us at Horseford's Building and Nevis Centers and enjoy everyday low prices at Builders Paradise.
Come, build with us at Horseford's Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Horseford's Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Horseford's Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Horsford's.
The wait is over. Registration is now open for the COSCAP Junior Carnival Parade 2025. This year, we celebrate under the theme National Treasures, highlighting our unspoiled historical sites and cultural art forms. The Masquerade, Clowns, Brimstone Hill, Berkeley Memorial, Independence Square, and from Nevis, Hot Spring, Bath Hotel, and the Botanical Gardens. It all comes alive on Saturday, December 27th, 2025. Sign up now. It's free. Register online at www.skncarnival.com or in person at the Department of Youth, 3rd floor of the Cable Building, Keon Street, Bastyr. But hurry, while stocks last, join the celebration, honor our national treasures, and watch the future of Carnival shine. It's Sweet to the core. Sugar Bass 54. Sweet to the core.
And we're back on Island T, just about 14 minutes after the hour of 9. And the town hall I was just talking about, it was a town hall interactive forum on the merits and demerits of the St. Kitts and Nevis SSZ, that's the Special Sustainability Zone Act, and the proposed Destiny Project. It was organized and hosted by the Nevis Civil Society Coalition of NGOs. Good morning, Callie. You're live on Island T. I'll continue with that later.
Grand Rising, guys.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Cortencia. And Quint, Grand Rising to you and the listeners. I want to continue from where I left off yesterday. I was making a point pertaining to what the government of Ghana did to the Israeli that was in Ghana as an act of reciprocity. I want us to look at what the trend that is happening in the continent of Africa. We have a woman president in Namibia, President Mendwaita, who have said with firm words, if Europe or America is going to require visa for Namibian, then Namibia would require America and Europe to obtain a visa to enter Namibia. Change is inevitable, guys. And if we as Africans don't support this move, if we don't wake up and let our voices be heard and take a stand to this cosmic change that is happening globally, we will be ever continue to be disrespected as a people globally. Let us get rid of this fake out. This fake out that's been imposed upon us. We are the most disrespected people on this planet. Now, whether you're going to say it is by design or whether you're going to say you never encounter it, we are a collective. We are a body of people who have been disrupted, who have been colonized, and who have been divided. It was by design to keep us this way. We are disrespected, guys. Now, Cortencia, Quint, or whoever is listening, we travel, and while we never encounter it, are we supposed to say what is happening to Africans? That it shouldn't bother us because it's not affecting me immediately? No. Look at Israel today in all the theatrics.
Journey, not only what is happening to Africans, what is happening to me, we should take put a spotlight on what is happening to African Americans, because this is America, the superpower of the world, and look at how you treat your black people there, and that is a big example.
It's not, and yet we want to go to America. We want to go to Europe. We are in the belly of the beast, and we find comfort there because it doesn't affect me directly. Although we see what is happening in America and Europe with Africans, how we are being gunned down in our own apartments. When Dylan Wolf went into the Baptist church and Dylan said, if he have to do it, he'll do it again, and they took Dylan Wolf for a burger. Now you see how easily we forget these things? You see how easily we forget what is happening? Look at Donald Trump. Look at his rhetoric. But yet we are complicit to these things because it doesn't affect us immediately.
But again, Journey, let's look at the African Americans and you see the whole divide and conquer thing. Because recently the African Americans now have termed themselves, I think, some original based Africans or something. They have a term which means that they were the original, black people, and they're using that.
A lot of things that is happening is because, I've moved away from saying we are going along to get along. A lot of what is happening to us as a people is because we are not knowledgeable, Quint. Make no mistake, most of us are not knowledgeable. And this is why the system continue. Now, we look at existence, we look at ontology, Quint. And we don't question these things, but the system knew because they came into our space and they study what being manifest in all of its manifestation. We look at existence, Quint, but the system, the philanthropists, the scientists, and all of these people that have studied us, they know that what we now have is what they copied from us, Quint. They copied it from us.
But Johnny,
we are comfortable.
Johnny,
yes.
I hear you. But there's a point I want you and everyone else to hear, and it is the thing that is our stumbling block, and that is why I keep going back right now to the African Americans. African Americans, they are not foolish people. They have never been. They have contributed some of the biggest, most profound things in science and other things. You look around almost all the things that humanity is dealing with today, and you hear African Americans created these things even during their time of oppression. But here's what is happening, to come back to strengthen the point that you're making. Because we as a people are so fragmented, here's what they're doing now. They're saying, well, they're looking and they're seeing what they have contributed, and they're trying to use that now to segregate themselves from every other black people around the world to say, see what we've done to humanity, see what, instead of understanding that this should cause us to strengthen our bonds with each other, including Africa.
Well, Quint, now I have stated before, and let me repeat it again. We are creators. We are inventors. All that we have, that's why the book today is nothing new under the sun. Our technology have now been amplified. They amplified our technology to benefit them. We are creators, as you're saying. All of that we have, GPS. I was looking at this movie just the other night, Quint, Hidden Figures, where a group of African women was... they were mistreated to even enter to go to work for NASA.
Yeah.
And it was a black woman who calculated the figures of the. And
travel into space and the rocket,
right?
And the armor for the rocket to sustain heat when it moves through the atmosphere and all those things. Come on.
You look at fiber optics. Fiber optics. A Ghanaian who invented this fiber optic. But where he lived his life in America, and then he went back to be buried in Ghana. And look at the state of Ghana today. I've mentioned a Nigerian doctor who operated on a baby in the womb, and he took out the fetus and operated and placed it back in the womb. Now, Quinn, can you imagine? And this was done with a white American family. The mother. Now, picture if something had went wrong with that operation, Quint. What they would have done to that black doctor.
Yeah, but you see, Johnny, you've said it, and we've said it over and over again. Within us, there's certain things within us that you could imagine where the world would have been if they had not spent 400 years trying to oppress us as a people.
Yeah. Yes, Quint, and that is why, you see, we have to look at words because they use words. Look at the word ontology. Quint, here we are talking about spirit becoming into flesh. We're talking about existence, but they give us a literature, a theology in a book that tell us in the beginning this and that and all of these things. But Quint, I don't think I'm going to take 40 minutes to bring my point across, but just bear with me this. I want to share something with us. I'll ask the questions, and I want Catencia and you and the listeners to wrap their mind around it. What is a sacrifice, Quint? We're in the season of Christmas where we're celebrating the Christ and all of that, the Christian community in their spaces. What is a sacrifice, Kent? No, just hear me out on this. What is a sacrifice? And does Jesus' death mean that, and does Jesus' death meet that standard? Before accepting any claim, we must define terms honestly. What a real sacrifice is. Across ancient Africa, Near Eastern and Mediterranean tradition, a sacrifice has clear characteristics. Irreversible loss. What is given up does not return. Permanent cost. The giver loses something forever. Substitution with consequence. Life, freedom, land, or future is forfeited. No reversal, otherwise it is a ritual, not a sacrifice. A sacrifice hurt, a sacrifice cost, a sacrifice change reality permanently. Now hear this, guys. How is Jesus' death called a sacrifice? Christian theology claims Jesus died for humanity's sin. But examine the timeline honestly. Arrested and executed. Dead for less than 2 days, returned to life. Ascended to divine status. Still worshipped, glorified, and reigning. So we must ask the uncomfortable.
But you see, Journey, this is why I say to you, and I'm beginning to be a little more proud of you, because you've been listening to me. This is why I say, when you come with different facets and aspects, and you're now proving to me that you've been doing your research and doing your analysis, and I can give you a passing grade.
Thank you, Prince. Now, yeah. No, here we
because that analysis is, I mean, it shows that you sat down, you scrutinized, you analyzed, and came to a conclusion. And a caller called in yesterday and said something that I said to you yesterday when you gave that example of pray and pray. You understand? Mm-hmm. And it shows that, yes, you are maturing in terms of how you express yourself now, and I'm quite proud of you.
Resonance, Quint. Resonance. My vibration is resonating with the source, everlasting and eternal.
Yes.
Let me continue, Quint.
So but continue with the intent to wrap up soon, though. Briefly. Remember always, Journey, that there are other times when you can even call in more than once on a show. You can bring a part of your point.
Yeah, Quint, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that.
Okay,
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me finish up quickly. So we must ask the uncomfortable question: what exactly was lost? How did He did not lose existence. He did not lose power. He did not lose status. He did not lose eternity. In fact, according to the doctrine, he gained glory. If something is returned intact, elevated, and immortalized, can it honestly be called a sacrifice? Comparing the real sacrifice, Africans' ancestors who died in resistance never came back. Enslaved Africans who perished paid the ultimate price permanently. Parents who lose children do not get them back. Soldiers who die defending land do not resurrect after 48 hours. Those are sacrifice. A temporary death followed by resurrection is not loss. It is a transformation. The logical problem is, if Jesus knew he would come back, he could not remain dead. Death had no permanent hold on him. Well, Quint, you're asking me to wrap up, so I think
but you've summed it up in a nutshell.
Well, I'm doing this for our Christian people, Quint. Because we swallow a misery without pontificating on the reality.
You've summed it up. In a nutshell, what you have said is, if an individual has the ability to put down their life and in a short period take it back up again, and go into everlasting bliss and eternity, that is not a sacrifice. That is what you've stated. Yeah.
But we fail to recognize, and you see, for them to say that our ancestors, our African kings and queens sold us into slavery. I mean, look at it. It is even in their book. It's in their literature. The King James Bibles, Paul emphasized, slave, be obedient to your master. Then you beg the question, if you're praying to this word of God in this literature, and you are a slave, being obedient to your master, does the same God answer your prayer and the master's prayer? And that is why when Journey said, look at nature, the animals are free. Are they bound? Are they in bondage? So why should we, that represent the God figure, be in bondage? But that's not the Creator, how the Creator creates things. The Creator is not the author of confusion. Everything created to be free.
Yeah, I want you to wrap up now, but that is why, like this morning, Greg made a statement and he said that certain things would suggest that God is a schizophrenic. But I would say that there are many of us who feel that the God of the Bible is definitely a schizophrenic.
You know, Quinn, let me just say this quickly. At best, it was demonstrated a ritual or not symbolic act, not a literal sacrifice as human understand it. Why the question matters? Because millions are taught to feel millions are taught to feel eternally guilty for a sacrifice that was temporary, was reversible, benefited to one who paid it. And guilt is one of the most powerful tools of control. Are we not being controlled, Quint? Does this book doesn't keep us in the book? We doesn't go outside of the book. The book is the literature, it's theology, and it is psychology and our mind. Sorry, Quint, go ahead.
Again, I say I want you to wrap up so that we can continue this.
I'll leave it here for now, Quint.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, man. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, I think he summed it up right. How can you make a sacrifice when you had the power to put down your life and take it back up? Because you are a son of the Supreme Being and, by extension, the Supreme Being. So is that not a sacrifice? And because of that so-called sacrifice, we are left with, as Journey stated, with the guilt. And it's the guilt that we continue to carry while we keep holding on to this and keep looking at it as a sacrifice, because we say, you know, he died on the cross for us and to save us in his blood and blah, blah, blah. But he took back up his life after 3 days and went back to the Father. So there are questions, and the ultimate question is, have we, after this 400 years, are we now not the ones keeping ourselves enslaved? That is the question. Hello, caller.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Well, let me brace myself now.
No, it was a sacrifice. You know why it was a sacrifice,
Why?
Because he didn't have to. He did it for us that we may have life and have it more abundantly.
Yeah,
God could have leave us in our wallow.
But
he sacrificed. He gave his life. He didn't have to. He had the power to take up and to put down. He could have called 10,000 angels to take him off the cross if he wanted to. He didn't have to.
All of that, Cleo,
he could have smacked down those people that was going to do him all the harm that they did to him.
Cleo, all of that is romanticism, because he had
Call
the power.
Look,
he had the power to keep us in a position where we didn't have to be in, where he have to come and save us. How you created us, you made us, you put the devil right here with us, to who you know was one of you, one of the gods. You put the devil right here with the human species, created havoc, and then you come and say you put down your life to save us from something that you created.
Quinn, at the end of the day, man put themselves in the position that they put themselves in.
No.
It was a choice. You had a choice to either eat from that tree, because the command was given, don't eat from it. The day you eat from it or touch it, you shall surely die. So you knew the consequences.
Cleo, how can you have a choice? Cleo.
Quint, hush. Don't the law tell us don't steal?
I'm going to listen to you.
We want to go rob, but people go rob.
Yes,
So
I hear you.
You know the consequences is going to be jail, right?
Yes.
But you do it still. You must kill, but you still go. People still go out and commit murder.
Yes.
Don't they know the consequences?
But hear this
but
now.
They still do it.
But
and
here,
that's what you call free will.
But hear this now. How can you have free will when, again, you are a mere human being created by a God, put in a garden with a tree, and the Bible itself says that you were ignorant. You were so ignorant you weren't even aware that you didn't have on clothes. You were so ignorant you didn't realize that you were naked. So here comes another God thrown out of heaven with all the power, knows that you are ignorant and says to you, see that tree there? Just eat that. And you in your ignorance do that, and then you say, I had free will? You see, people need to analyze these things, but you Christians do not analyze. You were ignorant.
Ignorant is no excuse for the law.
Oh, so you bring man's law into it now. So you
is no excuse for the law.
So you bring man.
That.
So you see how these people don't understand what they're saying. So you bring man's law. So you now bring man's law to explain something that comes from a divine being. You cannot superimpose man's law.
Adam and Eve was told from the beginning, do not touch the tree, do not eat from it. The day you do that, you shall surely die.
But they did not know anything about whether they did not know.
Adam and Eve had a communion with God, that God used to come down, sit with him in the garden,
and
talk
they were
with him.
the
they
God. But Cleo, you think talking fast is going to win you a point? I listen to you.
I am not talking fast.
I listen to you. I listen to you, and you are supposed to listen to me. I hear what you're saying, but remember, you're speaking about God, a supreme being, making individuals. You said they had an accordance with God, but when God came to them, they were ignorant. They were so ignorant they didn't even realize they were naked. So how come this supreme God comes to people that God made them so ignorant that they did not realize they were naked, and they have a choice?
Is it ignorance?
What choice?
That they didn't know they were naked, or just the fact that they were just being in nature, just like how now the Rastas would say, don't wear shoes.
So if you're
because
walking around in nature, you're walking around in nature and you're not aware that you don't have clothes, and then you eat a fruit, and that fruit makes you now aware that you don't have clothes, weren't you ignorant before you ate that fruit?
I would say you just didn't know. I wouldn't say it's ignorant.
If you did not know, you were ignorant.
It didn't bother them.
You didn't know.
If you did not know, you were ignorant. You can't twist. You can't. There's no way you can twist that around.
It did not.
I don't think ignorance should be used in that context.
What does the word ignorant mean?
But
hold on.
It means there are many contexts, but one of the contexts is it means to not know, to be unaware.
But Quinn, look at it, right? Isn't it the same when we were growing up? We were growing up as kids. Look at how we grew up when we were kids and the kids today.
Yes.
When we were growing up as kids, boys and girls just to walk around stark naked. We never even used to look at each other because in our mind we were so innocent. Today you think my 4-year-old grandson, they might tell me, excuse me. I can't even, you barely can watch them. They tell you, excuse me.
Listen, Cleo. Innocence and ignorance are two different things. But here's where people can exploit innocence. Because if you put those very same children in an environment today, and they don't, let's say they come from an environment like we came from, and you put them in today's environment, they would not be aware of their nakedness, But here's the problem now. Grown-ups are going to look at them and think, wow, that little girl, sick people. Remember, we live in a world where big, grown, 40-something-year-old men are sexually molesting 3-year-olds and all that kind of stuff. So you see where your innocence and your ignorance can cause damage to you because people higher than you, not even on the level of gods, can exploit you because you are unknowing. You are ignorant of the danger that it poses. Mind you're walking around in your mild innocence, yes, but people exploit that innocence. And what I am saying, go ahead.
No, anyway, when you finish, I have something else to talk about.
And remember, Cleo, no matter how heated we get in these debates, we still love each other, okay?
Of course.
Okay, I just want the world to understand that. So go ahead, go to your...
Listen, anyway, Quinn.
Yes.
You were talking about African American, right?
Yes.
I was listening to something. In 1978, the U.S. created a secret memorandum specifically designed to stop black unity, like Black American united with Black African.
Yeah.
And this National Security Council memorandum, is called number 46.
Yeah.
That literally signed it to keep the African American united with the African in Africa. So you see, so you wonder why is it that Journey we're talking about like African American and coming together with Africans. All these things were created to put that barrier between them.
Well, hear this, Cleo.
Hostility, create hostility.
Yeah. Well, hear this, Cleo. When we, in this modern society today, when sometimes our leaders will say there's this law that if depending on certain state of emergency and certain things, or maybe not even in a state of emergency, but certain conditions where they will say, if you congregate in numbers exceeding 3 or 4, that it causes a nuisance. Even in our modern day society, that is what it came out of, because back in the day, they did not, the slave masters were so paranoid, they did not feel comfortable seeing 2 or 3 black people standing talking to one another. They felt you were having a plot against them.
And I've learned something again. We used to tote the phrase "whistle while you work."
Yes.
Do you know whistle while you work was actually a thing put on the slave that while they're working they have to whistle, so if they stopped whistling they were punished because they were eating the food.
Yeah, you know where they are.
They think they were eating the food they were preparing. So whistle while you work, that's where that comes. Hey, I'm learning a lot. Anyway, guys, have a good day.
Same to
you. And
you.
again, every knee will bow and every tongue must confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, whether you want to believe it or not. Bow now or you're going to bow later. Have a good day, guys.
Same to you. Yeah, and again, let me reiterate, no matter how heated our debates go, we are mature individuals and we continue to love, okay? So don't any outsiders stay out there and think that we are hating on each other.
But, Quint, I would more want to use the word naive and not ignorant for Adam and Eve,
Okay, again, look up what does ignorance mean.
You don't know. You don't have knowledge of.
Yeah, so that is what it says.
But, as I said, maybe with harmony and with nature, them not having on clothes was just vibing. Look. Just like how the Rasta man would say, don't wear shoes because you're cutting off your vibrations. You're supposed to walk barefoot, etc., etc.
Well, you walk barefoot under certain conditions at certain times. For instance, if you're going to be running through, let's say, you see those cashew tree, that we call cashew tree. When I was young, I used to be looking after cattle and so forth, my mother's cows. And sometimes you have to run after those cows through those bushes. Are you going to run through those bushes? You know those thorns, right?
Yes, sir.
You see how big and jagged they are.
They were.
Are you going to run through those bushes without shoes?
No, you exercise wisdom.
So there's a time and a place for everything.
Yeah, but that was a time and a place for that because it was just the two of them and the animals and the Lord.
But we're thinking, here's what I want you to grasp in your head. A supreme being, an all-powerful being, creating a people, 2 individuals, and making them ignorant. Why?
I don't like. Anyways, I'm not gonna argue a word, but I don't think he made them ignorant.
I don't think so either, but this is the dogma that they gave us. So when I argued, I'm not saying the Creator did that, I'm saying man put these things in such a context as to keep people ignorant. This is where you all keep thinking that I'm going against the Supreme Being. I'm not.
No, I didn't see you going against. I just wish you would use a nicer word.
Good morning, Quint. Good morning, Cleo. Good morning to all listeners.
Yes.
The voice of Winston, welcome. Quint, let me answer to your question about ignorance. In my view, ignorance is knowing something exists and you dare it. So you ignore the danger, you ignore the consequences.
No, that is a complete different word. To ignore and to be ignorant are two different things. To ignore,
ignorance comes from ignore.
No, but to ignore means to disregard, to not study, to not care about something that you are aware of. So you ignore it. So I see Cartensia over there sitting. She's supposed to be my co-host, but during the tenure of this show, I choose to ignore her, and therefore we cannot get along and carry the show as it should, because when Cartensia is supposed to be making her input, I pull down the pod so that people can't hear her, and I ignore her existence.
But that's following the same vein?
Ignore.
Follow the same vein?
No. Ignore and ignorant. Ignorant means to not know. Ignore means to know, but to disregard.
Disregard,
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
At least I'm close.
Well,
Anyway.
no, don't try to hedge. If you were in an English class, you would get an X.
Okay.
And I was very good at English. English was one of my favorite subjects. Go ahead.
We love some of our exes. Anyway, this is what I need to remind the people of. Today is budget day, but I don't care about the budget because we ain't going to get no substance out of this budget. Nothing more than probably we are in a deficit. But I need the people of Nevis to know. Do not take your eyes off of the FSZ and the S. You know what I'm talking about. This is Christmas, our celebration. And some of us tend to get drunk, wild, and wacky. We have to keep our eyes on this deadline that being given or anticipate. We cannot ignore that. We got to keep our eyes on these decision makers who we trusted in doing diligence to the Federation, and they are not, because they have gone a different direction, a U-turn on us. We have to be vigilant of what is going on until that time is past, should it pass. And don't get drunk, always be in sober mode. Thank you.
Okay. The time 9:47. Let's take a bit of a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
The wait is over. Registration is now open for the COSCAP Junior Carnival Parade 2025. This year, we celebrate under the theme National Treasures, highlighting our unspoiled historical sites and cultural art forms. The Masquerade, Clowns, Brimstone Hill, Berkeley Memorial, Independence Square, and from Nevis, Hot Spring, Bath Hotel, and the Botanical Gardens. It all comes alive on Saturday, December 27th, 2025. Sign up now. It's free. Register online at www.skncarnival.com or in person at the Department of Youth, 3rd floor of the Cable Building, Keon Street, Bastyr. But hurry, while stocks last, join the celebration, honor our national treasures, and watch the future of Carnival shine. It's sweet to the core. Sugar Mass 54.
St. Kitts and Nevis, get ready, because this December, Horsefoods is about to drop it. Yes, Horsefoods is dropping prices like never before with 2 massive 3-day VAT discount weekend sales. Thursday, December 11th, that day Friday, December 12th, and Saturday, December 13th. Then we drop it again on Thursday, December 18th, Friday, December 19th, and that day Saturday, December 20th. Drop it. We're dropping prices with 30% off all in-store items at Horseford's Building and Nevis Centers, 25% off store-wide at Builders Paradise, 25% off store-wide at Horseford's Automotive Accessories and Spares, 25% off Horseford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. And on VAT days, we drop it even more with an extra 12% off VAT on top of everything. That's right, 30% off here, 25% off there. That discount everywhere. If it's savings, Horseford's will drop it. 2 weekends, 6 days, unreal savings. December 11th through 13th and December 18th through 20th. When the prices drop, you shop. Horseford's, where we drop it so you can save big.
Here are your Horsford's Value Mart IGA Christmas specials.
Running December 11th to December 24th.
Now our Value Club Blue Tag specials. Essential Everyday Shredded and Chunk Cheeses, just $7.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Frozen Waffles, just $9.99. Lender's Bagels, $12.99. Western Oils are $19.99 each. Essential Everyday Breadcrumbs, $7.49. Arm & Hammer deodorant, $8.99. And now our very low weekly
value deals. Quaker Oats, regular and quick, just $15.99. Mueller's Dry Pasta, $5.99. Essential Everyday Chunk like Tuna, $3.49. Essential Everyday Salt Plain and Iodized, $4.29. Progress Oat Soup, $13.99. Picoga Toothpaste, $6.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
This Christmas, add postpaid for a festive win-win. We're gifting you a 50-inch smart TV or a $400 Amazon gift card. When you add a Flow postpaid mobile plan to your home internet, you can celebrate the most wonderful time of the year with a big screen or big shopping. Let us upsize your TV or clear your Amazon cart. Either way, you come out on top. Add postpaid to internet today for your festive win-win. Visit discoverflow.co for more info. Terms and conditions apply.
Bigger wins, better deals, Christmas joy is here. At Ram Supermarket, we are also full of festive cheer this year. Better prices, bigger wins, 6 drawers full of cheer. The good food people love to give, that's why we share our cheer.
It's so easy to win. Just shop at any Ram Supermarket location, spend $200 or more weekly, drop your receipt in the entry box, and you can win $500 every week in December. So save big, win bigger, and celebrate this season with Rams. Happy holidays from Rams, the good food people.
And we're back on Island T, and it's just about 8 minutes before the hour of 10 o'clock. And I got one here for you, Quint. It says, this is the nice one. Whistle while you work means to maintain a positive attitude, find joy in your task, and work with enthusiasm. Even on mundane chores, turning labor into a more pleasant experience through music or a cheerful outlook. And that's a concept popularized by the Disney song from Snow White. It signifies productivity through happiness, teamwork, and persistence, though it also has historical roots. Why? I don't want that. Oh boy, give me 1 second.
But so far I understand and I agree with what the person was saying, but that is more of a modern day expression.
Here it goes down to say historical context, as Clea said. Historically, enslaved people were sometimes forced to whistle as they carried food to demonstrate they weren't stealing or interfering, turning a joyful expression into a symbol of control and surveillance.
Yeah. Hello, caller.
Hi, just a quick intervention. What was that expression? Whistling into that?
No, whistle while you work.
Oh, while you work.
Yeah.
Okay, because whistling in the dark has a totally different meaning. Yeah. Right. Okay.
And what's the meaning of whistling in the dark?
Whistling so that we know where you are.
To all the dangers around you.
Yeah.
Oh, that
you're
one.
pretending as if you're hoping that everything goes well, but
Okay.
a lot of danger around.
Okay.
So that's different.
All right.
But you mentioned Cartens here at the start of the program.
Mm-hmm.
This year of foreboding yesterday, right? Where everything just seemed muted and so on.
Yeah.
And yes, I
You noted that?
I too kind of
Oh,
noticed
she's
it,
giving me
right?
she's giving me a one up like, see there?
Yeah. I think it was a combination of shock and disbelief.
Yeah, especially
Right.
I think when it came to the individual that passed.
Right. Yes. There's something actually about the death in December that is different, that hits differently.
Oh, I never never noted that.
Well, yes. It's as if, well, first of all, I mean, it's the month of that, what we believe is to be
joyous
the most important birth.
Yeah, rebirth,
Right.
yeah.
Then there's the disappointment that that person. It seems so tragic that they didn't see the end of the year and the beginning of a new one.
Yeah.
Because it's so close.
Plus, there's this. You have to be mourning and sorrowful in a month which is supposed to be joyful, and
Yeah.
So there's a combination of things that I think make a death in December very difficult to bear, not just for the family, but for other people as well.
I think in thinking about it, I can understand the somber atmosphere because it makes you sort of look within yourself and say, wow, that could have been me,
It could have been, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? There's this school of thought that say people cry at funerals, not so much for the loved one who has already passed, they don't even know they're crying, but for themselves, because they know at some point that it's going to be them.
Yeah.
There's that. But I think there's the idea too of, well, that person was so young and vibrant, relatively speaking, young and vibrant.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
But nowadays it seems to be happening more and more. I think all that contributed to the
somber,
somberness.
Yeah.
And
I would agree.
And I mean, you saw it in posts, if you're on Facebook and so on, you saw it. I mean, people expressed their sympathy and remembrances and so on. And even there, it was so muted, like I said, a combination of shock and disbelief.
Yeah.
Right? But yes, Cartens, I for one kind of noticed it.
I can attest to that.
I was walking around town. Yeah.
Well, it's good to know. It's
you're,
good to
you're
know.
Clairvoyant. You're clairvoyant, Cartens here. You can tell. You have a feeling for stuff.
Well, she has said so on a number of occasions. So now
she
I
has?
guess yes, and now she's living up to it. Yeah, she has said she seemed to have that knack.
I think I got it from my mom.
Cartens, please don't dream about me and Quinn and others who know you.
In any negative way that we're doing any wrong things in society, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you can always think about Mr. McMahon as a boopser,
Mr. McMahon, you see what they're putting you in? Quint was in it too, so he's not only the one individual you calling. I'm letting him out now, since he gonna call you out.
The strange thing about it is, Cartens here. I just met Quint the other day. I don't think he knew me before. I didn't know him. Okay. So I have to ask, where is this coming from?
Well, I'm just.
Do I look overly generous or something?
No, you see, I was influenced. I was, Mr. McMahon. I was influenced. I was influenced along that way of thought by the caller, so I'm throwing her under the bus right now.
The caller gonna get you.
well, Cotton to identify the caller.
I never.
Huh?
You identify the caller, right?
I know the caller, yes.
Right, I know the caller too. We work together, so she's gonna get an earful when I see her again.
Oh boy! Caller, you in trouble. I hope you're listening.
I never thought of you that way until she suggested such.
Listen, and you didn't call yesterday, so I thought you weren't listening because I expected you to call and get them yesterday.
No, I was up and about.
Okay.
But I did say in your defense that if you were listening, you would just smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did say that. Because
once Cotton to identify the person, yes.
So I'm still in this mix. I can't get away.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But that's funny. It was funny.
Yeah.
Okay, but no. Nobody, please. I'm Santa for a very small group.
Don't.
Who are deserving, of family. All right. So, the Bookson thing.
Yeah.
But actually, though, the Bookson thing is a good thing, you know.
Let me say.
Distributes income.
Let me say this, Mr.
Redistributes income. Okay, Mr.
Let me say this, Mr. McMahon, to all the men out there. We buffs whether we want to admit it or not.
For true?
Yeah.
No, you can't walk home today.
The ladies would not like to. No. The ladies would not like to express that way. Okay? Find some more palatable way of expressing it.
Look,
you need a job,
Mr. McMahon.
Even though it might be just an investment, find some other way to make it seem like a normal, very classy act to help out ladies.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever seen the expression on women's face when they hear the word boobs? You see how they smile?
Because you know what it means, so it makes you laugh or smile or whatever. I know Quinn did that for me to smile again because you know what it means, Quinn.
Quinn books you?
Huh?
Huh? No, but I said because I know what it means. No. I don't think Quinn would do that to me.
No.
But I mean the fact that I know what it means. He's saying it for me to laugh.
You can use books in a good way and a bad way.
Okay? Let me hear the good way.
The good way is, of course, you're what they used to call it again, sponsor. You're helping out a friend.
But it still help out. It still help out, but we look at it differently, right?
Look, Mr. McMahon is
can't turn it around.
Look, Mr. McMahon is very creative with
his
words. I
know,
right?
but it's the same thing. It's just the same thing. But sometimes we know what it means because some extra strings are added, you know? So that's why I'm laughing.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I'm smiling.
In some cases, that's a given. That's understood, right? That's a different that's a different kettle of fish altogether. But to be kind and generous and so on around this time, I think it's a good thing. And like I said, it's the economy.
I agree.
You know, it spoils the economy. So the books are away, guys. Books are away, thing, you know? And ladies can books too, you know.
What do you mean, ladies can boobs?
Oh my God. Listen, the two of you. Where's my partner in crime when I need her to come and defend the show with me?
Who's that?
I wouldn't call any names.
All right, guys.
Okay, thank you.
You take care. Yeah, well, that's a good way to end for today.
Yeah.
Laughter is the best medicine, they say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, your parting word. Oh,
have a happy and safe Tuesday.
I see a last caller. Let me see if I can. Hello, caller.
Yes. It's me again, Quint. Yes. I want to be as quick as possible. Number one, I would like to address the issue that y'all were discussing before this last caller. The issue concerning why Jesus' death was a sacrifice. It was a substitute sacrifice, more accurately put. Okay? Now, the reason for that is this. Jesus Christ, well, God the Father, before, in all eternity, chose a certain people to be saved by the blood of Christ. You read that in Ephesians 1, Romans chapter 9, Romans chapter 8, and so on and so on. God chose a certain people from all eternity that he is going to save by the blood of Christ. And it is only those people who Christ came and died for. Not everybody without exception, but Jesus died for everybody without distinction. And there is a big difference between those two phrases. Now, yes, I would like to explain, but I don't have the time to explain.
Yeah, because we're 5 minutes over time. You can always pick up this on another.
Yes, yes. So maybe God spare life, maybe tomorrow's willing.
Yeah.
We could continue this. Okay,
Yeah.
Time isn't there. Thank you.
Okay, you take
Thank
care.
you.
Yes. So, any parting words, Hortensia?
Just to have a great Tuesday, and to each his own, and let's be grateful. Yeah. Take every moment.
And with whatever Hortensia just said, I concur. Do continue to have a great day. And I would say, as Mr. McMahon said, whoops along, fellas.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
If you live in low-lying areas, be aware of the possibility of tsunamis immediately after an earthquake. A strong earthquake lasting 20 seconds or more is a natural tsunami warning. Do not wait for an official warning. Gather your family members and evacuate immediately after the shaking stops. Don't delay. A tsunami could occur within minutes.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WinFM.
If you need